I actually forgot this show existed. That's how memorable the first episode was. And it's like and having watched the second episode, I couldn't even make it past the second episode. I don't care. If the show doesn't care about what's happening in the show, then why the hell am I supposed to care? How can this show take the mythology of Lovecraft and make it boring? But about how the show doesn't care. Okay, so they want to go to the village, right? Atticus, the girl and the uncle. I think the girl's name is Letty. I don't care. I only like Atticus's character anyway, so I don't really care what happens to the uncle or to the girl. So they want to go to the village. Why? I don't know. He's on third, and I don't give a damn anymore. So, because they literally don't even explain what they want to do at the village or the town, but they want to go there anyway. So they go into the garage, and there's the car from, their car from episode 1. And it's like, okay, and it's like, how was it fixed? What happened? William, I don't know. I just went to go pick it up. Well, wait a minute. Why did William go to pick up the car? Like, what was the point of William going to pick up the car and drive it back? Like, why? Like, it's not like the car served. It's not like Atticus and the uncle and Letty took the car to the village, because William ends up tossing the keys to the uncle. Atticus, Letty, and the uncle want to go to the village or the town. They're in the garage looking for a vehicle. They're in front of the vehicle. William tosses the uncle the keys to the vehicle. Do they take the vehicle? Fuck no! They walk! Why? Because the show doesn't care. And not only that, I love this. And so he explains about how come the car's all fixed. Oh, I don't know, but I did clean up the blood. We did clean up the blood in the front seat. Wait a minute. Whatever magic you used to fix the car, why wouldn't you use that same magic to, I don't know, clean the blood off the front seat? Why did you need to get the butler to clean the blood? Is this magic limited? That magic doesn't deal with blood or whatever? This doesn't even make any sense. So you have the magic to fix the car, but you don't have the magic to clean up the blood. That has to be done by hand by a butler. Okay? And here's the thing. What was the point? Like, why even? Like, I thought story-wise it would have value. That there's a reason that they didn't clean up the blood. It didn't mean anything. It didn't have any impact. It didn't have any significance. So why even have it that you had William say, I had the butler clean up the blood, when it served no purpose anyway? You could have easily have had it that there was no... the show doesn't care. The show doesn't care what it's doing. So then they walk to the village. I'm just going to call it the village. So they walk to the village. Why are they walking to the village? Why? Then they get to the village. What was the purpose of getting to the village? Because once they get to the village, they don't do anything. They're not looking for anything. They're not going anywhere. They end up going to the village to talk to the reason they go to the village, story-wise, is so that they can talk to the girl with the 2 dogs. Why? I don't know. He's on third, and I don't give a damn anymore. Because the show doesn't care. So they get to talk to the girl. They talk to the girl for maybe 1 or 2 minutes. And then the girl goes, you have to leave. You got to go back in town before your dinner. So let me see if I get this straight. Atticus, Letty, and the uncle walked all the way to the village to do what? Walk back? That's all they did. What was the purpose of them going to... Did they want to go for a stroll, stretch their legs? They did nothing once they reached the village. So why did they go to the village? Then to cap it all off, they walk back. They're walking back, and all of a sudden, it's the middle of the night. How long did it take them to get to the village? Like, how long did it take them to walk to the village that by the time they got halfway back or whatever to the manor, it's the middle of the night? Not only that, the spell, it was established that it made Lady and the uncle forget. Fine, they don't know. Except it didn't affect Atticus. Atticus remembers. Atticus remembers the creatures. Atticus remembers the fact that at nighttime, the creatures show up. So why, in the name of God, would Atticus purposely walk in the middle of the forest at night? Why? Because the show doesn't care. And if the show doesn't care, why the hell should I? Right? And then, I only saw the first half an hour because I gave up after it. So they end up talking to, Atticus ends up meeting Samuel. Samuel is on this laboratory table and he's getting operated on. We don't know he's getting operated on. As far as we know, he's being tortured. This is some random victim. No, Atticus is just... Well, Atticus doesn't care that some guy on the slab is being opened up or whatever. Well, if Atticus doesn't give a damn, why the hell should I? He's just passively... It's like he's waiting for the guy to get his hand bandaged with nothing. Then, after Samuel gets sewn up, sits up, and it's like, yeah, that was no big deal. Nothing to see here, boys. Nothing to hear, gentlemen. Move along. Atticus doesn't question what's going on. The show makes it like, nothing. If the show has it that nobody cares that he got operated on, stands up, and just starts then why should I care? Like, this is insane. This show is just... I got to the point where, Christina, I think, the girl, his daughter, and Atticus are talking. You need friends. Oh, can you be my friend? And it's I was expecting Elmo to show up going, won't you be my friend? It was like, this is, like, why don't you take off the spell? So she takes out the spell. They start screaming, and all of a sudden, Atticus is blocked from even leaving the room because of a visible force field, and then the door closes. And then, in the next scene, the very next scene, we're in Letty's room and we're in the uncle's room, and they're calm. And it was like, what? Wait a minute, they were just screaming a second ago, and I'm thinking, okay, wait a minute. Maybe an hour went by or whatever, and they eventually calmed down. Fine, okay. Except, now, if this was an actual competent show, with written by competent writers and a competent director, here's what should have happened, okay? After they calm down, the illusions show up, right? The illusion of the illusion of Atticus, I think it's the uncle's wife, and then the Korean soldier, right? Now, later on in the hallway, the uncle goes, the whole reason for these illusions were to scare us, which makes no sense because they're already trapped. They've already remembered the fact that, they remembered that, about the monsters and stuff. Apparently, they're not scared enough. They need to be scared more, and it didn't really even matter because after they leave the room after the illusions, they're pretty much calm and accepting of everything anyway. Like what? I'm sorry, I'm rambling here, but when they're out in the hallway and William shows up, okay, and goes, oh yeah, by the way, it's time for dinner. Okay, the dinner. There's just so much bullshit in this entire scene. The dinner alarm goes off. The doors open, and they all just walk out. Like, oh well, and it's like happened to Letty? What? With the illusion of Atticus and the Korean soldier, she had the knife going into him, right? But then when they go in the hallway, there's no wound, there's no injury. So either the show forgot that he got wounded, or because it was an illusion, he really didn't get stabbed. But then what happened to Letty? Did the fake Atticus actually attack her? Did she fend him off? No, they're not even going to cover it. They're not even going to explain. It was just supposed to be a shock scene. And then what? After that shock scene, the illusion disappeared. When did the illusion of the Korean girl disappear? Like what happened to all the furniture? Like, did the furniture... The bullshit of this illusion scene was nothing more than a time waster and to inject an action scene with Atticus and the Korean the Korean soldier. That was it. It served no... Anyway, so... I'm sorry I segue. But we'll go back to the whole idea, according to the uncle, the whole idea of the illusion was to scare them and question their mind and make them doubt themselves and make them go crazy. Which apparently didn't even work anyway, because after they leave, after the doors open and they come out, they're no crazier and no over the edge than they were before the illusions. And not only that, the uncle's illusion was just, I think it was his wife. So it was an incredibly passive illusion. Well, he didn't know what the illusions were of Atticus's and Letty's. Letty doesn't even say anything. So we don't even know what Letty's outcome was. And guaranteed, the show's never going to cover what happened to Letty. And I'm not going to watch to find out, because they're never going to cover it anyway. They're going to rinse and forget. And when this show literally forgets what happens the previous scene and ignores the previous scene, guaranteed they're never going to cover whatever actually happened to Letty. So anyway, to get back to my original point, if this was a competent show, what they should have done with the illusion is, while Letty was still in panic mode, was remembering about the monsters, realizing she's trapped and all that stuff, while she's still in that fear and panic mode, then you should have had the fake Atticus come in. While the uncle was still remembering and freaking out and panicking over remembering about there was actually monsters, and all of a sudden he can remember and he can't get out and is in that panic mode, then you should have had, while that's happening, have the illusion of his wife, right? That way it would have snowballed and compounded, and it would have actually, had an effect of actually, constantly, like it's literally pushing. But no, the show has it that they wait until they calm down and then have the illusion, because they're bullshit, useless writers. They don't know what they're doing. And then so they're in the hallway, right? And William comes in and goes, it's dinner time, it's black tie. Okay, at that point, as soon as Atticus saw William, Atticus should have pounced on William, grabbed him, started punching him in the face and go, I want some goddamn answers. He should have been going, I just fought an illusion of a Korean girl from my past. I want to know what the hell is going on. I already know Christina's doing magic. They're here for his father, remember? But they're like Atticus should have been pounding information out of William, or at least tried to. But everybody is so accepting of everything that's happening that if they're not being affected and they don't care about what's going on, how am I, as an audience member, supposed to go, well, they just had the illusion, and then the next scene, they don't care about the illusion. It's just forgotten. Well, then how am I I doubt anybody's gotten this far, but for those of you who have gotten this far, if you actually like this show, Lovecraft Country, please, in the name of God, explain to me what in the name of God is appealing to this show. Why are you watching? Who is the audience for this show? It's like the closest aspect of Lovecraftian writing that is part of this show is that if I keep watching, I'll go insane. That's it. That's the only insanity level aspect of this thing. Because there was a number of times they could have actually done something that would have established the Lovecraftian mythos. Because when those creatures show up in the forest, they're just there. And then immediately Christina shows up and like this show is ridiculous. I never made it past them sitting down to eat dinner. I only got about halfway through the show, and this is all about what I can remember from just the first half hour of the show. God knows if I had watched the rest of it, this video would have been even double, complaining about whatever bullshit happened in the last half hour of the show. Jesus, I'm done this show. It's not even fun, stupid. It's just bad. It's Picard stupid, where it's just frustrating and annoying. Because, like, the fan base for this show, as far as I can tell, are people who have heard of H.P. Lovecraft. Like, those people who have heard of H.P. Lovecraft, have heard the name, have no idea, have a rough idea about the creature Cthulhu, and that's it. That's who this show's target audience is, because that's who's writing this show. Whoever's writing and directing this show don't know jack shit about Lovecraftian writing. But then again, this show is based off of a book whose writer knows jack shit about Lovecraftian mythology and horror. So this show is literally a diluted version of a book, which is a diluted version of Lovecraftian horror. So it's sorry about the rant, but like this show, because I wanted to like this show. Like, I gave the first episode the leeway it did because it really made me like Atticus's character, so that was the draw. But this episode is like, this show is so goddamn far off the rails. It doesn't even know what it's not that it doesn't know what it's doing, it doesn't care. It doesn't care. It got its money. HBO said yes. They don't care if it makes any sense. As long as if you like this show, if you like Lovecraft Country, explain to me what it is that you actually like about this show, because it boggles my mind. You have to be insane to like this show, which is counterproductive because you won't actually be affected by the insanity because you're already insane. In fact, if you're insane, you'll end up liking the show and you won't be confused by it, and you'll go, everything makes sense. So the Lovecraftian horror aspect won't affect you. So you have to be sane to be affected by the insanity, except the insanity is because it's such a badly written goddamn show, it's gonna... I'm done. I'm done ranting. Luckily, the silver lining is one less show for me to have to deal with and have to watch and care about and make videos, because this is the last time I'm watching. This is the last episode I'm watching of this show. If you like this show, for whatever reason, I have no idea what it could possibly be. Maybe it's because Letty's hot, but other than that, like, if Letty was in more, if they had Letty in skimpier clothes, I'd probably still watch it, but Letty's just constantly fully dressed. Anyway. Here's one other thing. She wants they're eating, it's a small thing, but they're sitting down to eat, right? And Letty rings the bell for the butler. Now, the reason she wanted the butler was because she wanted salt. Okay? She wanted salt. Except when the butler showed up, the butler already showed up with salt and pepper. How did the butler know that the reason she rang the bell was because she wanted salt and pepper and he knew to bring the salt and pepper? Because there's no referencing that scene. Atticus and the uncle and Letty don't actually go, hey, how did he know I wanted salt? Like, how did the butler know that she, this is the bullshit writing. Like, that was a perfect scene where when the butler showed up already with the salt, Atticus and the uncle should have been going, how did he know? Like, that should have been a scene where it could have had the creepy ass music, and it would have been like a tense situation where it's like just the butler bringing the salt and pepper and already knowing that could have been an amazing scene involving what the hell is going on. But I know it was never used that way because Atticus and the uncle never actually acknowledge it, never actually reference it. Nobody even acknowledges that. Anyway, I'm sure the cow giving birth to a. And I haven't even covered the purpose of the goddamn how the village works. Like, I'm done because I'm gonna just keep going because just such bullshit over layers of bullshit over bullshit. I'm done. See ya.